The battlefield lay silent beneath a cold, alien sky. Jagged mountains loomed in the distance, their peaks crowned with greenish mist, and the ground was littered with fragments of metal and stone. Among the ruins lay Sir Rylan, the last knight of a fallen army. His once shining armor was cracked, his sword lay shattered by his side, and his breaths came in ragged gasps. Blood seeped through the rents in his armor, mingling with the strange, silvery dust that coated the ground. He could barely move, and each breath sent waves of agony through his broken ribs. As his vision blurred, he could see them approaching, the alien dragons, their forms silhouetted against the darkening sky. They were creatures unlike anything he had ever seen, enormous, with scales that shimmered in colors unknown to human eyes. Their eyes glowed with a green fire, and strange symbols etched into their scales pulsed with an otherworldly light. They were the Drakzura, the ancient guardians of the planet Ventral, and they had defended their world against Rylan's people with devastating power. Rylan had heard whispers of these beings before his journey here, tales of dragon-like creatures with intelligence beyond comprehension, who communicated not with words but with the very essence of their being. These dragons had rained fire and thunder down upon his army, scattering them like ashes in the wind. As they drew closer, Rylan felt his heartbeat slow, and he knew that his end was near. He closed his eyes, accepting his fate. He had come seeking glory, fighting for a cause he barely understood, and now he would die on a foreign world alone. But then, a low hum filled the air, resonating like a deep, otherworldly chorus. Rylan opened his eyes, struggling to focus. The dragons had encircled him, their eyes fixed on him, their heads lowered as if in silent contemplation. They were close enough now that he could feel the warmth radiating from their scales, smell the faint scent of metal and earth that clung to them. One of the dragons stepped forward, its scales gleaming in the dim light. This one was larger than the others, with scales that glowed silver blue, as if capturing the essence of the stars themselves. Its eyes met Rylan's, and in that gaze, he felt a presence, a vast, ageless mind, powerful yet calm. A voice filled his mind, deep and resonant. Not words exactly, but something deeper, a feeling that conveyed meaning without sound. You are broken, lost in spirit, yet your heart beats still. You are not of our kind, yet we feel your suffering. You came seeking conquest, yet we see potential for change. Rylan blinked, struggling to understand. The dragon's words were strange, layered, as though each sentence contained a dozen meanings he could only grasp faintly. His heart raced, both in fear and in awe. The creature's voice, or rather, the presence that had spoken in his mind, was unlike anything he had ever experienced. The silver-blue dragon lowered its head further, its glowing eyes mere inches from his face. Rylan felt a warmth emanating from it, a warmth that was not physical, but something deeper. As he looked into its eyes, he felt a sensation like a gentle current flowing through him, soothing his pain, easing the ache in his bones. He gasped as a rush of energy flooded his body, and he watched in disbelief as his wounds began to heal. Bruises faded, cuts sealed themselves, and broken bones knit back together with a warmth that felt both comforting and powerful. He was healing, and not just in body. He could feel something deep within himself mending, a part of him that had long been weary of battle, weary of conquest. He felt whole. The dragon pulled back slightly, watching him with eyes that glowed like green embers. Rylan could feel its gaze penetrating him, reaching into the depths of his soul. You have seen our world, and you have felt our strength, the voice echoed in his mind. But to destroy is not our way. You, human knight, have been given a second life. Use it to protect, to mend, to be a bridge between worlds. A new surge of understanding flooded him. He saw images flash in his mind. His home planet, the villages he had helped to raise, the innocent faces that had watched in horror as soldiers swept through. And yet, he also saw something else, an image of peace, of people of different worlds coming together, of learning from each other instead of fighting. It was a vision of what could be, If only he had the courage to change. As the images faded, the dragons slowly spread their wings, one by one, like darkened sails unfurling against the twilight sky. They lifted off, their powerful bodies rising with effortless grace, leaving only the silver-blue dragon. The creature stared at him a moment longer, its eyes filled with that strange, ageless wisdom. "Remember, Knight of Earth," it whispered in his mind. "You are now bound to the light. Go and make it a force for good." With a final, piercing roar, the dragon took flight, vanishing into the darkened sky, its form lost amidst the stars. Ryland stood alone, whole and unbroken, yet changed in ways he could barely comprehend. He clenched his fists, feeling the lingering warmth of the alien energy within him. As he looked out over the battlefield, Ryland felt a new purpose stir within him. He would return to his world, not as a conqueror, but as a peacemaker. He would be a bridge between worlds, an emissary of hope, and a guardian of the ancient wisdom the dragons had shared. He turned toward the horizon, his heart filled with gratitude and resolve, knowing that his true journey was just beginning.